National anthems of both Angola and Uganda have been sung. Two beautiful basketball countries, and now you can see both coaches, the likes of Mandy Girouni and Pep Claro, shaking hands with each other, and respectfully in their own right minds. They are legends within their respective countries. Of course, Pep Claro is originally from Spain, but magnificent job bringing a 12th FIBA Afrobasket Championship to Angola. Because Mandy Girouni, back in his day, was quite a key point guard when he played for the Charging Rhinos and the City Oilers. But now we'll take a look at the starting five. We will begin with Uganda. Legendary Robinson Apong will be in the lineup. Dango, as well as Jonathan Komagum, Mikey Sabana, and Fayed Bale will also be there. So that leaves Tijan Brugete coming off the bench. Because rebounding is going to be crucial tonight here for the Ugandans. Something that, of course, they were very disciplined at in all the matches they played at the FIBA Afrobasket this past summer in Angola. When you look at the kings of African hoops, who do you go for a starting lineup? You're like a kid in the candy store. Celta Miguel, Shilde Dundoo, Clesio Castro will make a start. Bamba Cisse and Abukako. So both Clesio Castro, and Bamba Cisse weren't a part of the FIBA Afrobasket Championship team. Well, you still got Lucchini, Francisco, Celta Miguel, and Bruno Fernando as options off the bench. And respectfully, I think it's fair to say that, you know, in this game, Angola will have the depth advantage, but take nothing away from Uganda, especially with their head coach, the legend Mandy Girouni, who, as I mentioned, was a great point guard back in his day, but spent over a decade coaching the City Oilers, getting them qualified for the 2023 BAL season in the Nile Conference, where they picked up their first victory against Ferroviario de Beretta. Coast has also worked with Kepler in Kigali, Rwanda, and Fox, a South Sudanese basketball team as well. So, and Pep Claros, former Hoven 2 Badalona coach, knows all too well to get this team not only to a 10th FIBA Basketball World Cup in Doha 2027, but also to make some noise and try to get them qualified for the Olympics. Well, we have Mbaise, we have Arnold, as well as our other referee here tonight. Again, a big thank you to all of our officials. Of course, respect to our officials who've done a magnificent job in all of our competitions, and they'll continue to do a great job. So tonight we do have Mbaise from Senegal. We have Arnold Masea from South Africa. And from Ethiopia, we have Wale Fikadu Gebeto. Sabanda is going to have a top game tonight. I mean, he's one of those kind of players that truly just knows how to excite a crowd. I mean, the exception of what he's done so far this season in the Easy Credit Bundesliga after playing in Turkey last season with Darüşşafaka. Well, he's going to have to be their go-to option. Fourth ever meeting between both Uganda and Angola. The first time back in 2017, and that was the closest matchup. The last two were in qualification for the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup. Uganda has never won. Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Alexandria, Egypt, the opening game here of Group D. Well, it's going to be an early dunk for Abukako. It's not quite the start Uganda wanted. Transition defense has got to be more aware early on. Savanda almost turning it over, but Angola already putting the pressure defense on, causing a lot of problems. Well, the thing for Uganda, as we did see at the Afrobasket this past summer, this is a team that knows how to handle the pressure, but already turning it over. Mighty Mouse goes in and finishes the layup. And quickly, Angola converting turnovers into fast break points. That's going to be another turnover. Well, the Angolan glove collectively has entered the FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. I mean, look at this. Lightning speed from Shilde Dundoo. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a statue of him one day in Luanda for the performance he gave at the Afrobasket this past summer. Dundoo coming off one high screen. Well, that's going to be an well, no, they're going to go for the penetration. Twisting, turning, getting points in the paint. Nice move by Bamba Cisse. Jonathan Komagum just trying to be a pressure reliever here at the moment for Uganda. Robinson Apong comes up with it. Komagum. There's a kick out. Now it's a wide open three, but it steps out of bounds. Well, it's unselfish play by Jonathan Komagum. But at the same time, probably you could ask the young man as Dango just caught that one out of bounds. Lightning start here for Angola. Patiently passing the ball as Shilde Dundal attacks the gaps as Gakko will go for another three. And rolls in and out. Now, as Dundal just tries to contest to this one. One area, of course, Angola did add their inconsistencies on the road to winning their 12th FIBA Afrobasket. They're not always the most consistent three-point shooting team. Now, that's not to say they don't create high percentage looks. They get very good looks from the field. It's like hit and miss from the three-point line for Angola. This time Uganda dealing with the full court pressure. Upon goes for a three in the corner. It's a little too short. Angola just want to keep turning up the tempo here early in the first quarter, because neither of these two teams in Group D or Group B featured in the opening window, so they have games to catch up on. Nice physical play, but good defense by Kamagum. That is the benefit of having the young rim protector. Mike Sabanda finds Robinson Apong. He'll fire another three. Not a bad look from the perimeter, but unable to connect. As now here comes Angola. Miguel splits the defense down the middle. Little teardrop, and he extends that lead to 8. Again, it's that full court pressure. It's another turnover. And Angola, at the moment, forcing Uganda everywhere and anywhere on the floor where they want them to go. And a timeout is going to be called by Uganda. Not a great start. But Uganda needs a little bit of composure here. And the problem they're having is dealing with this full court man-to-man press. I just wonder what Mandy Jiruni, head coach of Uganda, is going to try to draw up in this timeout for his players, because it's only been a few minutes of play, but we'll find out very soon as we head down to their bench to listen what they have to say in this timeout. Well, Pep Claris is trying to get some final words in. We'll try to hear what he's saying, but I can't imagine he's going to want to take the foot off the pedal with his players. I mean, they've got off to a high-flying start, and this is very similar to how they played at the Afrobasket. They pressure teams, they force a lot of turnovers, but the key thing here for Angola is they love to convert every turnover into a quick fast break bucket. Well, it's almost been 2 minutes played, so it's 8:04 to go here in the first quarter. Angola looking for a double-digit lead. Shilde Dundal denies the screen, goes to his right, penetrates in, way off the mark-out finish. Uganda can't have numbers if they push this one. But Apong turning it over yet again. And Angola, Shilde Dundal will finish. Or was he cherry-picking? I don't think it matters. Extending Angola's lead. Uganda still looking for that first bucket. Sabanda penetrates, goes in, much better, but he just cannot finish. And now Angola have numbers. Goes all the way, can't finish, but a foul has been given. Bamba Cisse now will go to the free throw line. It's the case here for Uganda. If you're going to turn the ball over or miss shots, you've got to make every effort to get back, because as we've seen already with Angola, they love to run in transition. Well, Bamba Cisse, still only 23 years of age, just standing at 199 centimeters. He was actually featured in the previous FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. We can see Angola right now just wanting to fight for this one. Getting the possession yet again. Almost 3 minutes played. Dominating very early on here in Alexandria. It's a very tough Group D and D with both Mali. So three goes up, but Shilde Dundal, but unable to connect. Another offensive board. And everything just going in at the moment for the 12-time champions of the FIBA Afrobasket. Lukaku getting his first field goal. That's going to be another turnover now. Dundal, well, had something Miguel, but in the end decided to finish it himself. I think at the moment, Uganda's got to find some identity here in their offense. It's another turnover. Dundal comes up with it. Pass deflects off the rim. Miguel goes in. He'll finish this one. And this is becoming a nightmare start for Uganda. The inability to take care of the basketball is Nike Sabanda taking on the pressure himself, but again throwing it away. Well, they'll go for another three. This one's up. Still unable to connect. Rebound secured by Kamagim. Can Uganda finally get the first field goal? And there it is, finally coming from downtown. They needed that one desperately. The three in transition by FIBA Basketball. Patient passing coming here from Angola. Not wanting to rush anything at the moment. Shildi Dundal just goes in, front eye and can't get it. Can Uganda start to build something here? Well, he made his last three, goes to another one. It's on target. Able to come up and follow his own rebounds. Nike Sabanda, he'll try his luck from downtown. Well, it's a tough thing when you go for a lot of three-pointers, but if you're not unable to come up with offensive boards, at that point, Uganda's got to continue to find other ways to score. Bamba Cisse just fumbles that one. Uganda have numbers. Kamagim makes extra pass, but he turns it over as the pass deflected, well, not deflected, just poorly caught out of bounds. And Angola will get it back. Well, Angola again, just trying to get inside the paint. So baseline possession coming up. Still leading by 14. Very good start here from Angola. That's how the presence of Kamagim just making it tough for the Angolans to get more points in the paint. But nice run in transition. Much better. Goes in and he's unable to finish. No foul given. But that is a much more optimistic, positive transition attempt by Uganda. Here's where they can't fault themselves. If they can come up with those rebounds, come up with those defensive stops, force those turnovers, try to push in transition. Kamagim again with the defensive presence. So few possessions defensively. Uganda can take a lot of positives here, but they've got to stop turning the ball over. They've already committed 9 turnovers here in the first quarter. Sabanda. Well, not going to be turnover number 10, but time is winding down. Has to take the shot now. Nowhere to go. Little turnaround. That's going to remain Uganda ball, surely. Well, double change coming in for Uganda. So Jonathan Kamagim will go to the bench along with FIBA Basketball. Because Bale got the first three-point in Kamagim. Because where he doesn't necessarily offer a lot of scoring, he offers, as I mentioned, the presence on defense. That's the key thing for him. Apart. Trying to get rid of the defender. Kicks this one out. Time winding down. Apong's got a pump fake. Got to go for it. That's going to be a 24-second violation, sure. No offensive rebound. Surely Angola may have felt that was a 24, but in the end, Dangu will come up with the goods. Dangu now the only second player to get onto the score sheet here for Uganda. Dundal walking around the defense. Uganda, finally getting the first three. Well, patient build up there by Angola. Just able to get the triple to knock down. That time, Islando Manuel just able to get, as said, the first three of the game. Angola currently 1 for 5 from downtown. That time, Braj Macic is going to get called for the foul. So Tijan Rugetse into the lineup here. Shilde Dundal's just going to take a little breather at the moment for Angola. Gamble on defense by Milton Valente. The foul is going to be called. Now, I don't know if the foul is going to be called on the rebound, if that's on Abugako or... I believe so, yeah. It's going to be free throws coming up here for Uganda. Well, there's the attempt. So it's a bit of a follow through, yep. So Joel Kaira will go to the free throw line. Well, Joel Kaira currently standing at 208 centimeters. He's actually featured at the AfroBasket this past summer. He played in 2 games for Uganda. Also played in the AfroBasket qualifiers throughout the various windows. Going to cut it down to 13. Second free throw just able to go down. Under 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Angola getting off to a high flying stop and now just dealing with a bit of perseverance at the moment from Uganda. Gaku goes in, unable to finish, but second shots points falling into the hands conveniently that time for Angola's Kevin Gokila. Because like I said in the pregame, the one benefit Angola's going to have in this game is the depth. And that's not to take anything away from Uganda, but some of your variety or your key players have got to play big minutes in this game. Well, it's going to be tough for them, especially since they've got to play more games to catch up with groups A and C here in the FIBA Basketball World Cup African Qualifiers. Very tough group indeed they have. It's both Egypt and Mali will be key competitors hoping to get to Doha 2027. And look at the collapse defense, the crash moment there from Milton Valente. And it's going to remain Uganda ball on the baseline. Well, baseline possessions now in the Steve Luboa will inbound this. Well, he's a 10-time Ugandan National Basketball League champion. One of the legendary coaches, arguably one of the greatest coaches in the history of Uganda basketball. This is both a player and coach for the City Oilers. Tijan Rugetse is just going to go to the bench here for Uganda. Push the defense coming. Kaira's got to do something with it. Turnaround fadeaway on the baseline. That didn't touch the rim, but Angola happy to let that one go out of bounds. I think the talking point now, you could definitely argue Uganda's got off to, well, they've started to get themselves into the game. It's now Lucchini and Eduardo Francisco into the lineup, but if you take away those first 3 minutes, a better stop for Uganda, this could be a closer game. Now it's going to be a moving screen on Milton Valente. Well, Valente came up with a quick high screen, but clearly wasn't set. Let's have a look at the replay. Watch Milton Valente there. Yeah, clearly goes in with a body check on Nassif Luboa. With 2:09 here, the key thing for Uganda is try to get this into single digits. Possession by possession. Luboa just dealing with the pressure. Now finding Peter Obleng. Mike Sabanda. Caught on a very aggressive hedge on the ball screen. Sabanda still has it. Time is winding down, gets past the defender. A lot of contact and a foul has been called. Because another area where Uganda would probably fancy this kind of defense from Angola, if they're going to get right up in your face, pressure, you know, hedge out, show aggressively on all screens, with players like Nike Sabanda, just go right to the bucket, get inside the paint, keep getting to the free throw line. Nike Sabanda just makes the first free throw. Well, they can relate to many of his backcourt players because he was a point guard back in his day for the City Oilers. Second free throw good, cutting it down to a 13-point deficit. This basketball definitely on the rise in Uganda. 3 times they've gone to FIBA Afro-Baskets. They've never gone to a Basketball World Cup, and rejection time. Get out of my house. Well, that is what I call protect the paint from Joel Kaida. Kenny getting that high screen. Nice pick and roll action, but it's way too easy for Angola. As again, they get inside the paint. And yet again, Kevin Kokila right to the bucket. Well, Luboa getting too casual. Luboa, that's got to be a traveling double dribble they've called. And it's the same story. Uganda's full court intense man-to-man defense again by Milton Valence. It's just way too casual. Let's see if Luboa's got to be a little bit more cautious. That's now 11 turnovers here in the first quarter for Uganda. Well, highly regarded within the basketball country, the world of Angola, where, like I said, he brought them back to the FIBA Afro-Basket Championship. A very long time for Angola indeed. Well, that one just got the lucky bounce, went in the end. Angola lead by 17. 4th ever meeting between these two countries internationally. Sabanda kicks out. Player goes in, is able to finish under pressure. Now moving up to 4 points as he gets his first field goal. The assist from Nike Sabanda. Well, given the time here, Angola could go 2 for 1. Kenny left wide open. They're coming up with a rebound. Dang, excuse me, coming up with it. Mikey Sabanda penetrates. A lot of contact. Finishes under intense pressure. As now he gets his first field goal. And that's a solid 4-0 run from Uganda. Well, reached in. That's going to remain Angola ball. Now, given the time here, it's actually Uganda who can't have the 2 for 1. But look at the aggressive take by Nike Sabanda. Baseline initiates that contact with Kevin Kokila. Plenty of time on the shot clock for Angola. Good. Oh, they're going to call a foul here. That's not the worst foul, but because it doesn't send Angola to the free throw line. The only problem here for Uganda, it's not going to set the shot clock back to 14, which is only going to leave 3.2 between game and shot clock. So the 2 for 1 might not be a possibility unless Uganda is able to come up with a steal. There's a back down. Now the foul's been called in the process of shooting, so 2 free throws coming up for Islando Manuel. Well, there's the post up. Well, he started his career back in 2009 with Primero de Agosto, one of the top giants of Angolan basketball. Now, most recently, since 2023, he's actually been playing with Interclub. 3-time Angolan champion, 3-time Angolan Cup champion. Because quite an undersized big man, if you ask me. Currently just standing above 194, but like I said, definitely a force to be reckoned with inside the paints. Second free throw, no good. Uganda do get this one back. Well, they got to get it over the halfway line. Final seconds. Almost turning it over now. Goes out of bounds. Well, this is where Nike Sabanda's got to be the primary ball handler because, you know, respectfully, Uganda just kind of struggled here against the full court pressure. No, that's actually going to remain Uganda ball. Or is it? No, it's going back to Angola. There's the final shot go. Almost got it. Well, it will be the 12-time FIBA Afro-Basket champions who finished the first quarter in the lead against Uganda. The fourth ever meeting between these two countries, and it's the opening game for them here in Group D of the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup Qualifiers. We'll run down some of the best highlights, and then we'll reflect and look back at some of the best moments here in the first quarter. Uganda, of course, haven't missed a free throw. They've only converted one three-pointer like Angola, but Angola, 11 out of 19 so far from within inside the rainbow. Something Uganda's got to try to change, but it's been the turnovers that really have affected Uganda here in the first quarter. Because 12 points for Angola off all the turnovers against Uganda, 13 fast break points. Now, credit to Uganda, they also have 7 fast break points, but 20 points in the paint to 6. That is where this game has been dominated.
Well,
I think the one thing for sure is if Uganda is able to minimize the amount of turnovers that they have committed so far in this game, for sure they can try to, peg their way back in it. It's only a 14-point deficit. Because so far it's Fayed Bale with 3 points, Nike Sabat and Joel Kaida currently with 4 each, but 11 turnovers, one too many. 13 rebounds, only 3 offensive boards. Well, here's some of the highlights from the first quarter. Angola getting off to a high-flying start. Shilde Dundol leading them so far with 6 points. And it's the tempo, but it's been the defense that's set the precedent so far here in the first quarter. Sultan Miguel that time just getting his way inside the paint against the legend, Robinson Apong. Well, both teams have the continuity of retaining a lot of the players from the FIBA Afrobasket this summer. But as I said, Angola, 12-time champions. Last summer winning in Luanda, Angola. Welcome back, everybody, and use that QR code and download Courtside 1891, where you can get all the best live streams, schedules, and scores of international basketball. Courtside 1891. Use that QR code and download today. It's Nike Sabanda. Are you kidding me? Oh, my goodness. That's one way to begin the second quarter. Well, big-time throwdown by Nike Sabanda. He decided to take no prisoners on that one. Now Lucchini just tries to get inside the paints. Angola looking for the second three-point field goal. Not going to go, but they'll come up with the offensive rebound. Nice screen coming again for Lucchini. Goes to his left. Well, it's going to be a reach-in foul, but like what you see from Uganda, they thought they were going to come up with possession and quickly try to run down the other end. It's tough to see from that angle. Not quite sure who they've called the foul on here. Well, that's only going to be the first foul here in the second quarter. Baseline possession coming up for Angola. On a tough post-up, but it's simply just too easy and bully basketball coming again from that man. He just gets his way inside the paint, and Islando Manuel making the defense pay, but this time the foul is going to be called on Eduardo Francisco. Well, he's had his experience playing in the Basketball Champions League with SL Benfica. It's always great to see Francisco on international duty. Clesio Castro will go to the bench. Nike Sabanda will also go to the bench, this time for Uganda. Oh no, he's going to inbound it, excuse me. Shilde Dundol back in the lineup as Lucchini will take a breather. Uganda going for another three-point. That one's just way off the mark. It goes out of bounds. Angola happy to let that one just dribble out. They built a very big lead early on, Angola. The question is, can they further extend on this? Or are they going to be quite comfortable hanging on to what they have? Sometimes the opening game of any qualification, whether it's an Afrobasket or a FIBA Basketball World Cup, can always be the toughest one. Foul is going to be called. I believe this is on Nassif Luboa. So sideline possession coming up here for Angola. On the screen, there's the alley-oop. Well, again, just threw that one off the backboard. I'm not sure if that was an alley-oop attempt or if Babasise was attempting a little floater, but either way, Uganda's going to get this back. Nike's abandoned. Now going the open court. Little lob pass. There's a pump fake. Got to go up with it. Well, no traveling violation given. Sabanda left wide open, uncontested, front iron. But Uganda unable to come up with an offensive rebound. Well, they'll go for another three and make that number 2 for Angola from downtown. Well, Gislando Manuel having a party so far in this game. 11 points already for the big fella. 2 out of 9 from the three-point line for you. Angola as Uganda again, just unable to connect from the mid-range. 17-point cushion. Dole now going, working circles around the screen. He'll fire a 3. On target, unable to finish. Angola just able to win this back. Another fresh 14. Francisco, time winding down. Well, this is what Mighty Mouse likes to do. Well, no foul called. Uganda wants a run. Well, they're going to pull up for a quick 3. And, well, in terms of shot selection, might not be the best. But when Peter Blank makes them, nobody's going to argue. So now both teams, 2 out of 9 from downtown here in the first half, but still a 14-point lead to Angola. Just over 3 minutes played here in the second quarter. Just remember the results in the first round of the World Cup qualifiers go into the second round. Top 3 will go through to the second round. Well, good defense. Joel Kair just doing his job. Pay protection. What can Uganda build off the Peter Blank three-pointer? Well, no backcourt violation given. Sabanda, nice pick and roll, goes in, and he finishes. Now it's a 5-0 run. Joel Kaira now joint leading scorer for Uganda with Nike Sabanda. They cut it down to 12 points. Maybe Uganda's got to keep going to those high bull screen scenarios with Nike Sabanda. Just allow a little bit more creativity in the offense. Francisco left wide open. He'll fire a 3. That's way too short. Angola fighting for those offensive boards. Already 7 offensive rebounds for Angola. Time again winding down for Dundal. Has to pull up over Jonathan Comagum. Sabanda comes up with it. Uganda flying with confidence here at the moment, but a foul is going to be called against Shilde Dundal. Well, that's the question I asked at the beginning of the second quarter. Are Angola going to push on and build a bigger lead? Can Uganda find a way to hang in there and just try to make this a more competitive matchup? Because TJ Rugetse back in the lineup, had to go to the bench because obviously he cut his eye open. Rugetse goes in for a little teardrop. Comes up with his own rebound, tries again. Uganda battling for offensive boards. Second time having it. Rugetse goes in, kicks out to Opong. This is good ball movement. Uganda another 3. That's a much better offense. Much better identity for Uganda. Now Angola wants to run. Miguel just tries to find his way in the cracks in the defense. Angola just unable to knock down the open three-pointer. That time coming from Kevin Kokila. Straight by Dangu gets rejected. Well, Uganda wants a goaltending violation, but what incredible defense. Miguel goes down the other end. He finishes. And it's both ends of the floor for the 12th-time FIBA Afrobasket champions. But what defensive presence. Comigan goes baseline, makes extra pass. A lot of contact, nothing given. Angola wants to run here. Uganda now affording themselves with a 1-through-5 switch, but good defense by Nike Sabanda. And well, Uganda will get it back. Abugaku felt that he didn't get the last touch, but it's actually going back to Uganda. Let's have a look. I mean, definitely he's pulling on the ship. Well, tough to see from that angle. Did Abugaku get the final touch? But Uganda's got a cool timeout. They want to talk this one over, but so far, much better performance from them here in the second quarter. We'll try to head down to their bench to find out what's going to be the message. Well, Mandy Jiruni, head coach of Uganda, was probably much happier with his team, showing a lot more character. And of course, so far in the second quarter, limiting the amount of turnovers they've committed. But look at this from Nike Sabanda. Here was the initial play. That was his first field goal. Taking that one right at Kevin Kokil and had to make the contact. Well, some could argue maybe he could have got an and one, but look how he began the second quarter. Nike. Oh, just do it, Sabanda. Like I said, they're going to need a lot from Nike Sabanda. One thing we saw a lot of positivity is when he ran that high ball screen with Joel Kaira. Because both him and Kaira are the leading scorers at the moment here for Uganda with 6 points apiece. Orlando Manuel, the only player in double figures, he's the leading scorer in the game. Just over 4 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Sabanda. Heavy defense coming from Baba Cisse. Robinson upon the legend of this team, still scoreless. Keeps this one alive. Well, he's going to turn it over. Good defense yet again. But Angola turn it right back over. Felicio Castro is ready to go coast to coast. Because that was another key area for Angola in the first quarter. The amount of points that they converted from turnovers, 12 in the first quarter. Still have 24 points in the paint as opposed to 10 from Uganda. "14 seconds on the shot clock for Uganda. Dangu will inbound this one. Almost turning it over. But Nike Sabanda still has it. Gets caught a double team. Finds Dangu. Dundo comes over. Another turnover force. Angola want to run. Abugaku. Back to Dundo. He'll fire a three in the corner. It's up. But again, Angola fights for it. Well, both of them fight over it. Still, they manage to keep this one alive. Abugaku will fire another three. This time he'll get it. Boy, now moves up to 5 points. He's 2 for 5 from the field so far in this game. And extends it back to a 17-point Angolan lead. Angola trying to double to the backcourt. TJ Rugete turning it over. Abugaku makes extra pass, but it takes a deflection. Oh, no, it doesn't. Abugaku. Oh, yes, it does, actually. Yeah, so that's going to remain possession. Oh, no, it doesn't. No, Uganda's got it back. Sabanda having to break down the full court pressure. The foul has been committed. So 2:51 to go here in the second quarter. Angola currently leading the rebound count slightly better, more offensive rebounds, but it's another turnover. Dindal comes up with it. Now it's a 19-point lead to the Kings of African Hoops. And now we're seeing very similar play here from Uganda that we saw in the first quarter. Congan doesn't take many threes, but he'll fire this one. Offensive rebound, putback, second chance points. Dangu right there to save the day. It's probably what Uganda needs at the moment. When the offense is struggling, you've got to find other ways to score. Miguel tries to find Dundon on a cross pass against his own defense. Three is up. Congan comes up with a rebound. We've seen Uganda play zones many times in the AfroBasket. And at times it's definitely worked for them for sure. But they've got to stop turning the ball over. Dangu finds space. Draws the foul now. He'll go to the free throw line. Well, they look much better in this offense because they know that double team's coming in the front court. It's avoiding a turnover. Well, the foul, I believe, is going to be called on Calesio Castro, so he'll go to the bench. Dangu currently at the free throw line. Well, Dangu played his university basketball at North Dakota State, also played at North Texas. Started his pro career back in 2020 when he went to Denmark. Also played in Germany's Easy Credit Bundesliga. He's currently playing for Alicante in España. Three by Selt Miguel, unable to connect. Big offensive rebound coming here by Bamba Cisse. That's been a huge difference in this game. 10 offensive boards for Angola. Time winding down. Dundal makes extra pass. Abogaku made his last three, and he buries another one in the corner. And it's simply beautiful basketball coming from Angola. There's that double team again. Congan trying to be the pressure reliever. But a foul is going to be called against Angola. Well, that's going to send Jonathan Congan to the free throw line. Well, Congan already has 5 rebounds, so a chance for him to put some points on the board. He has a good unit to work with. The tough thing for them is trying to adapt to this full court pressure, whether it's the man-to-man full court press or the traps in the half court. If they could just minimize the turnovers, Uganda can hang in there. The problem for them, 14 turnovers committed so far here in the first half. Congan only makes one. 17-point deficit. Uganda would love to make history for the first time, making it to a FIBA Basketball World Cup. Now they patiently break down the the zone defense. It was a high post entry and then a simple dump down to the baseline. And Kokilla now will go to the free throw line. Well, there's the high post entry. Kokilla just flashes baseline. And that's textbook, old school way to break down a 2-3 zone defense. Kokilla converts the three-point play. 20-point Angolan lead. 7 points for Kevin Kokilla. Third leading scorer tonight for Angola. That's going to be another turnover, make it 15. Uganda really struggling against his full court pressure. I think the officials are trying to decide, did it take a deflection? Because if there's any doubt, they'll have to go to the monitor to have a look at the review here. So referees just having a discussion now to find out, does this need to be reviewed? Our 3 referees tonight coming from Senegal, South Africa, and Ethiopia. We have Mbaise Ano Mosea, as well as Walin Fikaru Gebeto. So they're just going to have a review. It's an official review to find out, did this take a deflection when Robinson Apong tried to find Jonathan Congam to break down the pro. It's actually a head coach's challenge. So head coach's challenge has been called by Coach Mandy Giroudi. So we'll find out here. Very tough to see from that angle, because both Bamba Cisse and Celta Miguel come over for a double team. I mean, this is where Uganda struggle. Anytime there's been this double team, as I said on the full court press, or even at the half court against any front court player of Uganda, that's very tough. Wow, successful head. Oh, not sure what they've called it, because one referee, I think that's going to remain Angola ball. So an unsuccessful head coach's challenge. Now with 57.2, Angola, if they take their time on this offense, could actually go 2 for 1 and try to extend their lead. Uganda now going into a matchup. Bugaku finding Celta Miguel, just trying to work a bull screen. They'll try to find a bit of separation. Defended by Dangu. Not going to get it, but comes up with a rebound. But Jonathan Congam accidentally throwing it away as Bamba Cisse comes up with it. So now 10 seconds difference between game and shot clock. Abugaku. Now a little pick and pop action here with Shilde Dundal. It's going to be a kickball violation, so imagine that's going to be a sideline ball potentially coming up, maybe a baseline one. And that resets to 14 seconds on the shot clock. So now we have 3.7 difference. And Pep Claros, enough time to try and go for the final shot. He'll call timeout. See if we can head down to Angola's bench to find out what he's going to draw up for this final play. As Angola currently lead by 20. Well, here's some replays. As you can see, the one player in double figures so far this evening for Angola. He's been absolutely unstoppable inside the paint. And that is Islando Manuel with 11 points. This has been in and out of playing with the national team. One of the veterans of Angolan basketball currently playing. Well, a member of Interclub in the Angolan Basketball League indeed. Sideline play coming up here for the 12-time FIBA Afrobasket champions, leading by 20. Abugaku just helping this one get inbound. Dundal trying to get the contact, nothing given. Still a bit of time here as Nike Sabanda trying to go the length of the floor. Teardrop, and he gets it in the end. Nike Sabanda. Well, that's one way to end the first half, and what a way to finish indeed. Well, he took that one coast to coast, and in the end, got it to drop. What a finish by Nike Sabanda. Just able to get that one to drop. Well, fans, we're going to take a look at some of the key statistics here from the first half, as well as look back at the best highlights. But it's the opening game of Group D here in Alexandria, Egypt, between Angola and Uganda. All roads beginning tonight. But, of course, will we see these two teams at the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup? Well, Angola currently 4 out of 19 from the three-point line, 15 field goals from within inside the rainbow. Uganda slightly better from the charity stripe, but the issue for them has been just one too many turnovers. Well, they are indeed out rebounding Angola. Of course, Angola with 5 more assists, but now you can see the turnovers. That is where it's been a big problem for Uganda. Uganda having committed 16 turnovers, one too many, but only Islando, the man in double figures at the moment. We'll take a look at the highlights very, very soon. Well, there was a three-pointer by Islando. Manuel from downtown, 11 points so far. He's actually 2 out of 2 from the three-point line. Because there was Dangu, quick three-pointer in. Actually, that was Obleng, excuse me. Just a quick shot in transition, but Mikey Sabanda, that time, finding Kair off the ball screen. And that is the screen action that Uganda's got to go to more often when they come back in the second half. Well, Abugaku as well, of course, has been one of the better three-point shooters in this game so far. He's 2 out of 4 from downtown, but Celta Miguel, the extra pass kicked out by Dundo, excuse me. That is how this team got their way to the AfroBasket Championship. Well, fans, we will be back in just over 13 minutes. The 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup Qualifiers.
We are in for a showdown here tonight. Let's get this party started. Oh, my goodness sakes, that's a throwdown. Goes in for the dunk. Good night. Too big, too strong, and just too good. Bogdanovic, who goes in and scores. Ah! This is what it's all about. It's all one big basketball family, folks. He is a magician. Winning time. Both teams over the limit. You have got to be kidding me!
Turns it over, chance to run, great pass. Oh, what a block! They just do not know when to quit on a play. Ahaga comes from nowhere.
Tunisia looked to slam, just to put an exclamation mark on this, and Sayaza goes up for the dunk. It was a sweet pass.
These rebounds just to give Cameroon only one chance on the offense. Oh, that's beautiful play, Mohamed Abuzgaya. That's a great pass.
As long as you keep taking care of the ball. McCoy gets inside, goes upstairs.
McCormick goes in for the dunk.
He's a hell of an asset to add to this Rwanda national team. And they come up with a steal. Oh, super little pass. Highlight time. Nice touch, great vision.
There's Almeida trying to come off the screen. Better defense that time. Ivan Almeida throws it up. Correa. Look at that lob. Correa, great timing on the cut. The no-look pass.
And Guinea are just easing to victory. Oh my, that is rubbing salt in the wound right there from Shannon Evans.
Oh my gosh! Look at this! Wow! Incredible! Slaps it and says, "Get this out of here." That's a three, can't get it to go from Correa. He goes again. Wow, and he soars in. So we managed to get there, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back, everybody, live here in Alexandria, Egypt for this opening game of Group D of the FIBA Basketball World Cup African Qualifiers between Angola and Uganda. We're currently Angola lead 45-27. Nike Sabanda so far leading the way here for Uganda, but it's been a very tough game indeed collectively with 16 turnovers. Uganda found some form of inspiration at the beginning of the second quarter, led by Nike Sabanda, who's 3 out of 6 from the field with 8 points. But they've got to find that consistency if they're going to come out with a much-needed opening victory. Well, there was the final shot at the end of the first half, the 4th ever meeting between both Angola and Uganda. Uganda's never been victorious against the 12-time FIBA AfroBasket champions. Well, so far, it's the legend indeed that's leading the way for Angola. The man who didn't feature at the AfroBasket, Islando Manuel, leads with 11 points, the only player in double figures. Well, he hasn't missed a shot tonight. The only shot he's missed has been a free throw. Other than that, he's 2 for 2 from within inside the rainbow, 2 out of 2 from the three-point line. Well, the brute strength, the undersized big fella, just going to work inside the paint. He's currently playing for Interclube after spending the bulk of his career with Primeiro de Agosto in Angola. Like I say, it's one thing you've got to love about Angola is the depth in the national team lineup. Because so far, only 2 players who didn't feature at the AfroBasket this summer that were champions against Mali at the final. Well, they do have more options on the bench. We haven't seen Braz Machi, because we've seen a little bit of Milton Valent as well, but when Islando Manuel, the legend, is cooking up early, you want to keep the big fella out there. Let him make it rain. Because only 2 players tonight have been on the three-point field goal stats tonight here for Angola. That's both Abu Gaku and Islando Manuel. So it'll be interesting to see if those three-point percentages do improve for the defending champions of the FIBA AfroBasket. Well, the players now just making their way back onto the floor. Because it'd be very interesting to see, in the case of Uganda, I think the one area that, it's very tough to criticize them on is that they don't have the same depth in the lineup. And probably the one area you can give them maybe a bit of critique is that their inability to take care of the basketball with inside, well, whether it's the full court pressure coming from Angola or even in the half court. I mean, Angola, what they've done defensively, they're trying to pressurize and double team the ball handlers to make them force a turnover. And credit to Angola, where they've been able to do that defensively. They forced a lot of turnovers, and they've already converted 17 points from those 16 turnovers committed. Because yet to see Bruno Fernando in the lineup tonight. If it's another area when you talk about Angola, the inconsistency's always been from the three-point line. And even you can go back to the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup where they had a game against China, which I believe if they had won that game, they would have more or less been in pole position to directly qualify for the Olympics, because that also went to, well, that actually ended up going to South Sudan in the same the team they ended up losing to on the final day with the ninja Bruno Fernando. But in that game against China, China played a 2-3 zone defense, and that really disrupted Angola's offense. Well, every great team has got an Achilles heel, and Angola, it's not that they don't have good three-point shooters, just not able to knock them down on a consistent basis. But Uganda, on the other hand, just don't really have enough depth in the backcourt. They've got some very good players. You could talk about Dangu, legendary players such as Robertson the Ball, and Peter Oblang as well has come in, but TJ Rugete, of course, had to leave the game due to an injury, which he unfortunately did split his upper eye open. Now, he has returned into the game since then, but well, Dangu currently 4 points, 2 rebounds away from a potential double-double already this evening as he has 6 and 8. Jonathan Comigan, second leading rebounder tonight here for Uganda with 5 rebounds. Then Robertson Napong, third leading, but he's also scoreless. But a lot has got to be said about Nike Sabanda. I mean, if they're going to come out with a victory, it's got to be at least 25 to 30 points. He's got to have a big second half. Well, they definitely go on runs, Uganda. You know, we saw them exhibit a little bit of 2-3 zone defense. They quickly came out of it, though, when Angola identified to go to a high-low scenario, which both Abu Gaku and Bamba Cisse just worked terrifically in the front court. We're going to see in the second half if there's going to be any more zone matchups. Now, I'd imagine with the inconsistent three-point shooting from Angola, at some point we are going to see that defense again from Uganda. Well, it's going to be a long road indeed, because none of the teams in Group D or Group B actually featured in the opening window of the World Cup qualifiers. And this is a tough group, because you've also got Mali and Egypt. Both Mali and Uganda made it to that final of the FIBA Afrobasket, which Angola won comfortably in the end. Egypt, a team who disappointingly were exited. Many would have thought it was their tournament for the taking, but after a long break from the group stage until the quarterfinals, well, maybe it was just a little bit too long indeed. And that's for the World Cup qualifiers. In every group, it's the top 3 teams that end up going through to the second round, and whatever results you have in the first round, those will come into play in the second round. So that's why every game matters on the road to the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup in Doha, Qatar. For Angola, it'd be trying to qualify for a 10th Basketball World Cup. For Uganda, it'd be about making history indeed. Well, we are moments away from getting this game back underway. Players just trying to get some shots in, some more routines and rhythms. Because if you take away those first 3 minutes for Uganda, had they not committed so many unnecessary turnovers, this could be a very different game. Because they've shown time they can actually hang in there, but you've got to do it for 4 quarters, especially against a team as great as Angola. Well, the players now heading to their benches, just getting some final words with their coaches. Pep Claros, of course, regarded as the hero, helping bring a FIBA Afrobasket Championship back to Angola. It was a very long time, over a decade indeed. But they were able to get the job done indeed. Of course, the last time they won it was back in 2013 prior to winning it this summer. So it was 12 long years until they had to wait for FIBA Afrobasket Championship number 12. Well, they've had some great times in Basketball World Cups. They've been to the Olympics 5 times, Angola. Well, fans, use that QR code and download Courtside 1891, where you can get all the best live streams, schedules, and scores of international basketball. Courtside 1891, use that QR code and download it today. There's the legendary Albert Ahawe, one of the legends of Uganda basketball, who's worked with the federation and every team time. Welcome back, everybody, live here in Alexandria, Egypt. Second half underway between Angola and Uganda. The double screen action, Sultan Miguel setting that little ghost action. And in the end, comfortably tucks that one away inside the paint. That's where the defense just needs to be a little bit more aggressive from Uganda. Robinson Apong still scoreless in this game, but third leading rebounder tonight here for Uganda. Well, three goes up. That's one good way to begin. Well, who said he can't take three-pointers? Big fella now moves up to 4 points with his first field goal. Made one free throw earlier. Sultan Miguel responds with a bang. Well, better start here from both teams. Mikey Sabanda just trying to push the tempo. Comigan in the end turns it over. Sabanda comes up with it. Uganda's got numbers. Sabanda hangs in the air, a lot of contact, nothing given, but Abu Gaku now finds it. Here comes Angola going coast to coast and quickly converting. Well, that's great transition by Milton Valent, just able to keep that one under control. That's indeed his first field goal tonight, Milton Valent. Comigan goes baseline. Again, a lot of contact, but nothing given. One more. Miguel made his last three. Finds Shilde Dundo. That's a turnover. But can Uganda convert something? Dangu. He'll go in. He'll finish that one under pressure. Well, this is the kind of start Uganda needed at the beginning of the game. But unfortunately, the way they commence this game has got to where we are at the moment. Miguel made his last three. Pump fakes, finds space, buries another one, and has a few words for Uganda's bench. 23-point lead currently to Angola. It's Fayed Bale just put under pressure. It's another Uganda turnover. Dodol's got options, finds Abu Gaku. And a foul from behind by Jonathan Comigan. So free throws coming up here for Angola. That's the thing about Angola. As we saw in the first half, this defense, it's what predicates everything. They want to double team you, force you to turn it over, then they want to run. So in the case of Uganda, you're up against a team that if you make mistakes, they'll make you pay. If you get things right, they'll still make you pay. Clesio Castro just going to the bench. Gaku now at the free throw line for the first time this evening. Can actually become the second player in double figures if he, well, third player, excuse me, behind Sultan Miguel and Islano Manuel. So now indeed 10 points. Dangu caught a double team. Mike Sabanda's got to put it up the full court. And they beat the, oh no, they don't. Well, they don't beat the 8-second violation. Oh, it's just terrific defense by Angola. Unfortunately, that becomes turnover number 20 for Uganda. Castro getting the ball taken that time, but Dodol will fire it through it. Everything flying in. Third three-pointer buried here in the second half for Angola. Well, they're feeling the confidence. There's no doubt about it. They feel like they cannot miss. To the Pog, still scoreless. Tries to find mid-range. Comes up with his own rebound. Trying to find Comigan. A lot of contact, but nothing given. Rebound collected by Milton Valent. Angola trying to extend this to a 30-plus point lead. Miguel goes in. He'll finish. And there you have it. 30-point cushion for Angola. Sabanda being heavily smothered on defensive end. Just helping out. Apong tries another one. He finally gets his first field goal tonight. He's 1 out of 3 from downtown. 7-point lead currently here to Angola. Dundol gets around the defense. Tries the contact against Dangu, so Mighty Mouse will go to the free throw line. The foul is going on Dangu. Dangu, 2 points. 2 rebounds away from a potential double-double tonight. That's his first personal foul. It's not too much foul trouble for him to be concerned about. Shilde Dundol currently at the charity stripe. Well, the 2025 FIBA AfroBasket Most Valuable Player. Remember, he was the BAL champion in 2024. Because he's only ever played for one team. Many would say the best in Angola. Petro de Luanda. This is becoming a nightmare here in the full court. Titus Odeke subbed into the game now here for Uganda. It's just turnover after turnover at the moment. One in total committed by Uganda. Down by 29 and the paint goes in. Well, a rejection committed, but a foul in the end. The Sifu Boa is going to be called for it. She's going to go to the free throw line. Malachi now entering the prime of his career. Knocked down the first free throw. Just played in 6 games for Angola this past summer, where he helped them get to become the 12-time champions of FIBA AfroBasket. Also played in the Olympic qualifying tournament the previous summer. It's a disappointing defeat against Lebanon in Valencia that summer. 30-point Angolan lead. Just trying to deal with the full court pressure. Gets past the defense, but in the end, another turnover. Well, he had Nike Sabanda and Titus Odeke as well, but pass wasn't quite there. That's great work. I mean, he's beat down the pressure himself, but both Odeke and Sabanda wide open on the corner. Kenny now finds space in the mid-range. Knocks it down, nothing but net. Cool as you like by Kenny. It's his first field goal this evening for Angola. Just the unrelenting full court pressure for Angola. Uganda having to work so diligently every possession to try and break it down. Dangu pump fakes. And somehow, someway, Dangu gets it to drop. And he'll go to the free throw line. Well, explain the basketballology physics of that one. It's a prayer. That's Malachi getting called for the foul. Kevin Kokilla will come into the lineup here for Angola. Three-point play converted. Back to a 29-point deficit. Points difference matters, so every possession, Uganda's got to keep battling, try to get back in any way they can. Almost halfway to go here in the third. Dundol, uncontested, but elected not to go for the three-pointer. Nice give-and-go sequence. Can't finish, but an offensive rebound by Kokilla. And Angola continue to battle for second chance points. 11 offensive boards in total for Angola. Dangu pump fakes, goes baseline. Another foul committed. That time Milton Valent is going to get called for it. Nice pump fake by Dangu. Dangu's got 11. Remember, 2 rebounds away from getting a double-double this evening. Now 4 out of 4 from the free throw line for Dangu. 4 out of 9 from the field in total. He's only taken 1 3-point shot, but we did see him make a few 3-pointers at the AfroBasket last summer as he misses his first free throw. 30-point cushion. Kenny denies the screen. Made his last mid-range. Unable to get this one. Sabanda trying to lead something here in transition. Almost turning it over. Beats 2 defenders. There's the alley, but good night! Dangu Airlines connects with it. Well, that's what we've been waiting for from Dangu. And that's one way to inspire your teammates. Get them into the game. Unable to finish. Dangu make that rebound number 9, nearing that double-double indeed. Well, it may be a mountain to climb indeed, but every possession, as I said, has got to matter. Sabanda just again trying to break down the full-court pressure by himself. Boa, 22 turnovers. Angola's got numbers. There's a no-look. Now quickly convert yet again. Another turnover at the fast break points. Kokila's having a buffet so far in this game. Anytime he runs the floor, it's always going to be an option for Angola. Well, make it another turnover. It's a 2-on-2. Masisi goes in, but he's unable to convert. Oh no, violation. So one of the more rare occasions we're going to see a turnover here from Angola. They've only committed 7 so far this evening, but look at this. Right then, splits 2 defenders, and as they say in Uganda, Sula Bulunji, good night. Dangu airtime. They'll go for a quick 3. He's fouled in the process. 3 free throws coming up. Fayed Bali, who made the opening field goal, which was a 3-pointer for Uganda. Milton Valence overcommits himself, so 3 free throws coming up for Fayed Bali. Oh, Valence just lands in his, is in his landing area, excuse me. Because Fayed Bali actually played at the FIBA AfroBasket last summer. He played in 3 games. Wasn't really a big impact player for them, but because go back to 2023, the road to Philippines, Japan, and Indonesia. He also featured in 4 games for Uganda, but this is the second free throw. There's no doubt in this window, it's going to have to be a key focal player in their backcourt. 1 out of 3, but it's a lane violation. So Fayed Bali will get another free throw. Third free throw good. 2 out of 3 for the charity stripe. Still a 28-point lead in favor of Angola. Questa gets that 10th FIBA Basketball World Cup. Kenny almost turning it over. 10 on the shot clock now. Orlando Manuel back in. Kenny will fire a 3. It's a little too short now. Looks like a foul. Is that going to be on Jonathan Comagum? I think it is. So that's going to remain Angola ball with 2:52 to go here in the third. Well, that's a tough one indeed because both Comagum and Orlando Manuel fighting for position on the rebound, but Eduardo Francisco also back in the lineup here for Angola. Kenny working around the screen, kicks out. Hasn't missed a 3 tonight, and there's his first missed field goal attempt. It was bound to happen at some point, but you can't always go 100%, that's for sure. like another foul. This one's going to be called against Luboa, I believe. Oh, no. It's actually called on Angola, so not sure who the foul was called on. So free throws indeed coming up here at the moment. So the foul is on Eduardo Francisco, so Nassif Luboa. Another missed free throw attempt here for Uganda. Uganda's only missed 5 free throws this evening. They're 11 out of 16, but like I said, had they had the same start at the beginning of the second half, which they hoped they wouldn't have got at the beginning of the game, this could have been very different. Well, gets around the defense, but in the end, nutmegs Comagum. Angola keeps it alive. Uganda. Right now just trying to stay disciplined here on defense. Buketi penetrates, gets rejected. Well, Titus Odeke with the denial. Can Uganda get something? Good turn here and avoids the block, and what a finish by Luboa. Well, spinning like a washing machine, and in the end, cleaning up the defense. But still a 25-point lead here to Angola. Guess they have it. Manuel, now he goes for a deep three from downtown. Francisco runs in for the offensive board. Wants to go up against Dangu, good defense. And there's Dangu's double-double. Well, he actually had it on the previous rebound. That's 14 points, 11 boards. Go for a quick three by Odeke. That's not a great shot there for Uganda. Down low pass inside the paint. It's Angola looking a little bit fatigued here at the moment, even though they do lead by 25. Dangu looking for options. Luboa, heavily defended by Luke Kenny. Under 10 on the shot clock, but again, another unforced turnover. And that's unfortunate. Make it 25 turnovers now here for Uganda. Angola would love to go 2 for 1 here on this offense. Get something good, try to go for a stop and get up with the final shot. Francisco goes in, gets denied. Well, Titus Odeke came for the block, but nobody came to gather it. It comfortably fell into the hands of Eduardo Francisco. Dangu got caught in that double team. He'll try a 3 in the corner. That's going to hit the side of the back, but it will go out of bounds. So now the shot clock will be turned off for Angola. I don't think a timeout's going to be called by Pep Claros. This team have a big lead. Dangu's going to go to the bench. Well, double-double for him. Regardless, 14 points, 11 boards. Odd foul on it. See, Angola leads by 27. Now, knowing Pep Claros, I think you much would have rathered his team dribble down for the final shot because, you know, in a game that's going to be much closer, here are the areas you want to work on because, I mean, granted, in fairness, Bambassis has identified the defense has fallen asleep, but it's irrelevant whether they do go for the last shot, but knowing how Pep Claros is, he's a perfectionist. That's how he got his team to win the 12th FIBA Afro-Basket Championship. Bambassis misses the first free throw. So if Uganda comes up with a rebound, or if Angola scores, it'll be their chance to get the final shot. Bambassis looking to extend this to a 28-point lead, but he's unable to make it. Luboa currently in the backcourt along with Fayed Bale. Final seconds for Luboa. Penetrates. In the end, turns it over, and we head into the final fourth quarter, the final 10 minutes, with Angola leading 78-46 in the opening game here of Group D's FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. Live here at the Borg Al Arab Arena in Alexandria, Egypt. But so far, the 12-time FIBA Afro-Basket champions flying with confidence. We'll take a look at some of the key stats, and then we'll run down the best highlights from the third quarter. 40 points in the paint for Angola to 22 of Uganda's. Also 18-second chance points in Angola. Only 27%. Well, both teams 27% from the three-point line. We'll take a look at the highlights from the third quarter. Well, there was a stop by Celta Miguel, just getting his way too comfortably inside the paints. And Jonathan Kalmagam hitting the fourth three-pointer of the night for Uganda. Because the one area you could probably, say that these two teams have been quite close to each other has been fast break points. A combined total of 48 between both of them, in which, of course, Angola lead that still 28-20, but you talk about points and turnovers. Uganda, it's been a turnover nightmare for them. Uganda collectively have committed 26 turnovers, and the problem for them is Angola's taken full advantage of that, converting 29 points from those turnovers. Celta Miguel yet again finding his way straight inside the paint. 40 points in the paint in total for Angola. That was the only field goal so far from Robinson Apong. This is coming from Jonathan Kalmagam. And that was Lucchini's first field goal. Mid-range, simply automatic. But here was the highlight of the game. Nike Sabanda finding Dangu on the connection. And time from Captain Dangu. Well, fans, use that QR code and download Fantasy League. Well, I'll let you find out where you can register to play using that QR code. Uganda getting first play here in the fourth and final quarter, down by 27. Just trying to go for an ISO moment. Well, Banks open. Did he call it? I don't think it matters. Nice play by Joel Kair, his first field goal since the first half. Now moving up to 8 points. Joint second leading scorer with Nike Sabanda right behind Dangu, who's got 14. Bamba Cisse trying to work some magic. He'll try off the bank, can't get it. Sabanda comes up with it. Angola's got numbers. Sabanda, another alley-oop. Kair comes up with it. Double pump fake. Well, he's able to finish. Now he moves up to double figures. It's now both Joel Kair and Dangu into double figures. Combined total of 24. Well, Kokila had the mismatch, got it in the paint, and now he'll go to the free throw line. Foul has been called on Titus Odeke. Well, Kevin Kokila currently 1 rebound away from getting a double-double, because he'd be the second player to achieve that accolade so far this evening. Of course, currently playing in France in the French Pro LMB. Actually grew up playing in Paris. So he extends it back to a 25-point lead. Sabanda having to catch a very awkward one, but in the end, another turnover. Now in total control of this game. Lucchini. Just the switch on defense. Finds Francisco. They'll go for another three. That one's not going to drop. Sabanda coming up with the rebounds. Now looking to push. Not having the numbers in transition to pull up for a quick three, and he'll bury this one. Well, now Nike Sabanda getting into double figures. Third player for Uganda. Now moves up to 11. He's the second leading scorer. Because he's 4 rebounds away from a potential double-double as well. Lucchini tries to go for that step back three. This one's up. No good. So the foul is being called. Shlando Manuel was just trying to attempt for a rebound. Scoreless here in the second half is Lando Manuel. Having missed 3 3-point attempts, but still indeed the 4th Depth leading the score, 1 of 4 plays to be in double figures, but now he'll go to the bench as Pep Claris makes a change. Well, still no Bruno Fernando tonight. Not sure we're going to see the big fella in action. Lucchini finding Baba Cisse. Time winding down here as Eduardo Francisco fires a 3. So Uganda come up with possession. Savannah finds an opening. Goes straight to the bucket. Are you kidding me? Tough as nails. Well, somebody said Nike. Just do it, Savannah. Well, there was nobody stopping him going to the rack. Foul is on Eduardo Francisco. Nike Sabata converts his 3-point play. He'll become the joint leading scorer along with Dangu for Uganda. This team is trailing by as many as 20. You want to minimize the deficit as much as possible. Got to play 6 games here in the first round of the World Cup qualifiers. It could be the group of death if you look at it. You got Angola, Mali, Egypt, and Uganda, 4 very good teams. But only the top 3 will go on to the second round. Lucchini off that double screen. Valente set the high screen. Now Uganda, Sabanda's ahead of him. Could have got it to him, but didn't get it. Oblang goes for another 3. He's made 1 and makes another one. Now it's a 17-point deficit. Well, Peter Oblang now 1 out of 3 from the perimeter. Angola again. Just don't want to panic here. Well, it's going to be another turnover. It's incredible. Rugete, a lot of contact, and he's able to finish. And now, indeed, it's a 15-point deficit. And now you can start to ask the question, Angola, having led by as many as 30, right now look like they're collapsing. Well, let's head down to Angola's bench to find out what Pep Claris is going to say. Truly incredible. I think Pep Claris is going to address to his players that they got to find that stability in their offense.
Okay, you guys are staying deep a bit, yeah? Just step up a little bit so that we have that adjustment. Okay? Obviously, just shrink into the ball. Okay? So that they keep kicking the ball out. All right? Hey, reason why we're getting back in the game is because we are fighting. Okay? We're getting open and we're fighting ourselves. All right? So keep fighting. When we get the rebound and give the ball to you guys, the guys, I want you to go and get it. Go and get it. Go and get it. Okay? All right? Is that clear? Okay?
Well, a lot of life here in Uganda's play at the moment, but Angola's still in total control of this one. But I think for them, maybe got a little bit too comfortable, a little bit too complacent. They've only committed 9 turnovers. Celta Miguel still their leading scorer of 16 points, but Kevin Kokila, who has 13, he's a 1 player, 1 rebound away from a double-double. And Shilde Dundal is actually 2 assists away from a double. Well, Shilde Dundal is 2 assists and 1 steal away from a triple-double. And there's still time. He's on the floor. Dundal. Well, poor pass by Abogaku. Uganda just trying to deal with the pressure, but that's going to be a backcourt violation. Now they can't use the head coach's challenge because they already used that in the first half. Because the argument they're trying to say is, now let's have a look at the replay here. I think that's quite definitive if you ask me. They're still having some negotiations, but indeed that's going to remain possession to Angola. 6-16. Having led by as many as plus 30 points. Now seeing that lead disintegrated down to 15. And it's inspiring play for Uganda. Because remember, these two teams will meet again here in the qualifiers. With 16 to go, 15-point deficit. Anything is possible for sure here in international basketball. Angola will get it back. So foul's going to be called against Nike Sabanda. Doesn't put Angola into the penalty too early, but the foul count there in total. Angola have committed definitely a few more fouls, but Uganda only has one to give here in the fourth. Keeping Lukeni as the primary ball handler here at the moment. Nice give and go, goes in, and he misses the layup. Uganda comes up with it. Now they want to run. Rugete tries to find an opening. Fakes the handoff. Didn't take a jump stop, but in the end, Angola survives this one. Dundal finds Abugaku. Angola still has it. He's got to get this back. Still time here on the shot clock for Angola. There's a hesitation. That's going to be a foul called, so that's going to be the final team foul against Uganda. Shilde Dundal, like I said, just needs 2 more assists, 1 steal, and he will have a triple-double tonight. Something that hasn't been achieved too often in any of the FIBA World Cup qualifiers on any continent. I'm surprised Malachi will go to the bench. Well, the MVP of the AfroBasket goes the huge fan favorite, Mighty Mouse. What an AfroBasket he had. And in big games, if you want to go back against Cabo Verde, because in my mind, he was the key difference. No Shilde Dundal, no Mighty Mouse, no AfroBasket championship for Angola in my mind. Slight delay in game, but it's going to be possession here for Uganda, trailing by 17. It's been a very inspirational run from Uganda. Because of them, they can cut it down to 10 before the end of this game. Give them something to play for in another rematch. TJ Rugete goes in for a floater, can't get it. It's just not going to drop here. Well, Lukeni going coast to coast, and nobody came out to stop him in his tracks, and that's way too easy. Well, there you have it, double-double. Shilde Dundal, 10 steals to go with his 15 points. And he needs 2 assists to get to a triple-double. Well, Shilde Dundal, well, there's a three-pointer by Lukeni, extending it back to a 22-point lead. But the double-double for both Kevin Kokila has been achieved and Shilde Dundal. But as I said, he needs 2 assists to get to a triple-double. Nike Sabanda will go for another 3. That's not going to go. Patient play now coming from Angola. Abugaku now penetrates. Angola just passing around the defense, but a very poor attempt indeed. Looks like a foul is going to be called against Kokila. As mentioned, Kokila, like Shilde and Ndo, both have double-doubles. The other third player to have a double-double tonight is Uganda's Dangua's Kairo come out of the game. Because Kairo finishing with 10 points, 1 of 3 players in double figures this evening for Uganda. Now Luke Kenny's going to go to the bench. So Celta Miguel playing in the backcourt. Now imagine, are they going to move Shilde Ndo to the primary point guard? Because if so, with 4 minutes, probably could achieve to get those 2 more assists to get to that triple-double. The alley-oop attempt, no good, goes out of bounds. Angola will get it back. .345 opening game here in Group D between both Angola and Uganda. Ndo coming off a double screen. Now looking to attack. Finds Celta Miguel. Nice kick out. Good ball movement here from Angola. Oh, it's beautiful basketball. And in the end, a two-handed rim rocker. Well, Milton Valence just able to finish that one. Another turnover in the end. Celta Miguel, he'll fire a 3. 9 assists for Shilde Ndo. 1 assist away from a triple-double, but 19 points to Celta Miguel. Incredible scenes. Well, it's going to be another turnover. Miguel penetrates. But you got to go to Ndo. Get that triple-double. Get that final assist. There's the penetration. Ndo goes himself. Can't finish. Well, all he had to do was kick it out in the corner to Celta Miguel. 27-point lead currently here to Angola. Kamaga goes in. And that's going to be a charge. Good defense. Well, Kevin Kokila, 13 points, 10 rebounds already this evening. Doing the dirty work and taking the charge. Well, Kokila's going to go to the bench. Can Shilde Ndo be the second player in the history of FIBA World Cup qualifiers to get to a triple-double? Miguel penetrates. Finds Ndo. Well, he'll go for a 3 in the end. The foul is going to be called. This one's going to be against Angola. Well, Ndo is going to leave the game, and he was 1 assist away from becoming the second player to ever record a triple-double in FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifying history, but it just wasn't meant to be. Well, the foul was on Castro. Abugaku will go to the bench as well. He had a great game tonight, 10 points. 5 players in double figures this evening for Angola. Well, 2:04 left here in the fourth quarter. It's going to be another turnover. That's just been the unfortunate case. 33 turnovers committed in total by Uganda. And they got it back to within 15. And you kind of felt at that stage, you know what? Get it to in single digits. By getting it into single digits, you give yourself a chance of a potential head-to-head if you're going to be tied on the same record. Well, Lucani prevented the turnover. Hot screen set by Valence. Lucani still keeps us alive. Time winding down. Puts up a circus shot. Bank is open. Obrigado. Lucani time. So now he becomes the 6th player to get into double figures tonight here for Angola. We can always count on Lucani. Simple as that. It's 1:38 to go here in the fourth quarter. I think there's going to be an official review to find out who got the last touch off this one, because it's an official review indeed. So we'll have a look at the replay and find out what our officials are going to make of this play. Here's the inbound. Tough to see from that angle because Dangu does look like he may have had the last touch, but looks like that's going to go possession back to Uganda indeed. Very tough one indeed to say the least, but so 1:38 to go. Where's that actually? Let's have a look here. Pep Claros, his team getting off to high flying start. No, Angola actually has it back, so my apologies, I had it wrong. 14 for Angola. That's a three again, this time coming from, well, that time taken by Eduardo Francisco, unsuccessful. Nike Savannah coming up with it. Uganda just going for a quick three in the corner. That one beautifully tucked away. Just a little too late, unfortunately. Peter Blank now hitting his third three of the night, moving up to 9 points. He's only missed one. Santa Miguel just goes baseline, unable to finish. Just trying to scramble for anything, but a foul has been called. If that's on Braz Malachi. That's only the 4th team foul against Angola, so won't send Uganda to the free throw line. Well, Kevin Kokilla double-double, but I think the big talking point, I don't think Shildy Dundo realized he had 15 points, 10 steals, and 9 assists. We'll find out quickly afterwards because I said second player. Actually, he would have become the 4th player ever in history of FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers since 2017 to achieve the triple-double. But for Angola, it's about the unit. 12-time champions of the FIBA Afrobasket. Lucchetti just turns it over. While the individual accolade would have been great, every player is a part of the system, the synergy. Lucchetti just stepping out of bounds. And Lucchetti, you know, credit to him getting into double figures. 2 out of 6 from the perimeter, 4 out of 10 in total from the field tonight. That's a penetration by Nike Sabanda, just able to finish. Tough move. Now he becomes Uganda's leading scorer tonight. But you look at the disparity there in the paint. 44 points in total for Angola. It's been a true display of dominance for the Kings of African Hoops. That's going to be an Angola turnover, but it doesn't come anywhere near as Angola. 11 turnovers, but you compare that to Uganda, 35. That's just been the big difference. And where Angola's been brilliant, it's where they've converted turnovers into fast break points. 40 points converted. Dangu just reclaims his spot as the leading scorer tonight here for Uganda. Now moving up to 17. Well, fans, a big victory for the 12-time FIBA Afrobasket champions as they look on quest to get to a 10th FIBA Basketball World Cup. Angola win this 90-68 against Uganda. I think the big talking point, the 2025 FIBA Afrobasket Most Valuable Player, Shildy Dundo, 2nd leading scorer tonight for Angola, had 10 steals and 9 assists, was 1 assist away from becoming the 4th player ever in the history of FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers to get to a triple-double. Well, there are the stats this evening. Both teams 12 out of 17 from the free throw line. Angola, only 2 3-pointers better, but it was the damage they did inside the paint. Uganda won the rebound count. Angola with 5 more assists, but 35 turnovers is 1 too many. Uganda's never gone to a FIBA Basketball World Cup. Dangu led them with 17, Nike Sabanda with 15. But 6 players in double figures tonight for head coach Pep Claros. Forza Angola. Because they made history. Well, that was the first play by Kaira getting into, that was his 8th point of the night. That was the first play of the 4th quarter, excuse me. He did end up finishing with 10 points. And this was the field goal that took him to 10 points. Because he was 4 out of 8 from the field this evening. Nike Sabanda, at the time just trying to find a lob to him, but had to double clutch on the pump fake. Well, there was Peter Obleng's second 3 of the night. He finished 3 out of 4 from the downtown. Well, as I said, Angola only making 2 more 3-pointers. More than Uganda. Uganda were 8 out of 21 from the 3-point line this evening. And that was Obleng's 3rd 3 of the night. The assist coming from Jonathan Comagum. Comagum finished with 2 assists, 4 points, and 6 rebounds. Well, the other game's still going on between both Mali and Egypt. That is going to be a great game to watch. It's an exciting beginning for Group D here in the 2023 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. That game will be tipping off a little bit later. Mali, the young, rising, exciting team who made it to the AfroBasket final, losing to Angola, will take on the team that many would have thought would have won the AfroBasket. Because both Egypt and Angola qualified for the FIBA Basketball World Cup in the Philippines. But fans, so far here from Alexandria, it's goodbye, but we'll see you later on for that game between Mali and Egypt.